She slammed the paper against my cabin door like she was serving a warrant. $30,000, she hissed, jabbing her finger at the fine notice. I stared at her, more baffled than angry. You do know this cabin isn't even in your HOA, right? Diane Larson smirked like she'd caught me stealing. We've extended our boundaries. This is our jurisdiction now. I almost laughed. But then I saw the bold letters. Failure to comply will result in legal action. You've got 30 days to pay, she said, loud enough for my neighbor to hear. I stepped outside, the cold air stinging my face, and lowered my voice. Diane, you don't have that kind of power. Oh, we'll see about that, she snapped, pulling out her phone. Within seconds, she was fake talking to a code enforcement officer, saying my name like I was a wanted criminal. By the time she left, I wasn't just annoyed, I was curious. This wasn't just about a fine. Something told me Diane and her HOA board were up to something bigger. And if they wanted a fight, they'd better be ready for the kind I was trained for. Because I wasn't just a cabin owner, I was the guy who once taught federal agents how to win them. The next morning, a bright orange sticker was plastered across my cabin's front window. Condemned. Unsafe structure. Entry prohibited. Diane was leaning against her shiny SUV at the end of my driveway, sipping coffee like she'd just won a war. Guess you'll have to move out now, she said with a fake, pitying smile. For safety, of course. I peeled the sticker off slowly, locking eyes with her. Unsafe structure? This cabin passed inspection last month. She didn't flinch. Not by our inspector. That's when a black pickup rolled up, 2 men in reflective vests hopping out. No ID badges, no official logos, just cheap clipboards with printouts. One pointed at my porch. We'll have to seal this off. Not happening, I said flatly. Diane folded her arms. Refuse, and we'll file for immediate demolition. My jaw tightened. They thought they could bully me out. But here's what they didn't know. Every word, every fake threat, was being recorded by my security cameras and sent to a cloud drive they couldn't touch. And I wasn't the only one watching. A friend, a state attorney, had called me the night before. I'd sent him the fine notice. His exact words. They've just committed about 5 different crimes. Don't stop them. Document everything. So I smiled at Diane for the first time. Go ahead. Do what you need to do. The deeper they dug, the harder they'd fall in court. 2 days later, I came back from a supply run to find my driveway chained shut with a shiny new padlock. Diane was there again, flanked by 3 HOA board members like she was leading a parade. You're officially trespassing on our property now, she announced, waving papers like they were holy writ. I raised an eyebrow. Funny, because county land records say this is mine. Every inch. One of the board guys stepped forward, smirking. Not anymore. We filed an easement change. This is all HOA territory now. I didn't bother arguing. I pulled out my phone and started recording. Care to repeat that for the camera? They froze. Diane's fake confidence wavered, but she recovered fast. Record all you want. You'll see it in court. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted her to say. What she didn't know was my attorney friend had already checked. The easement change they bragged about didn't exist. Forging something like that? That's a felony. I walked up to the chain, snapped a close-up photo, and sent it to my lawyer with the caption, "They've just committed property interference." Diane called after me. Enjoy the walk to your cabin, like it was a zinger. She didn't notice the unmarked SUV parked up the road, 2 real investigators quietly filming her. The next morning, I woke to heavy boots on my porch, not the soft shuffle of a delivery guy, but deliberate steps. I opened the door to 2 men in mismatched uniforms, badges clipped on like they'd raided a costume shop. Diane stood behind them, arms crossed, grinning like she'd won the lottery. "This is an eviction," one of the fake cops barked. "Vacate immediately." I tilted my head. Eviction? For what crime? Failure to comply with HOA regulations, he said without blinking. Diane chimed in. "I told you this would happen." I let the silence linger, then stepped aside. "Come on in." They hesitated, clearly not expecting that. As they crossed the threshold, the tiny red light on my living room camera blinked to life, capturing every word, every face in crisp detail. "Mind if I see your badges up close?" I asked casually. The shorter one shifted nervously. "That's not necessary." "Oh, but it is," I said, my voice sharpening. "Because impersonating an officer is a federal offense." "And this camera?" It's live streaming to the county sheriff's department. Diane's smile finally cracked. He's bluffing, she snapped. Right on cue, my phone buzzed a message from the real sheriff. Keep them there. Deputies en route. I leaned against the wall, eyeing the three of them. Looks like you'll get your day in court sooner than you thought. Within 15 minutes, sirens echoed through the trees. A real sheriff's cruiser pulled up, dust swirling. Diane's face went pale, but she tried to hold her ground. Officer, she said sweetly as the deputy stepped out. We were just enforcing community rules. Community rules? He cut her off, glancing at me. This property is outside HOA jurisdiction. We've confirmed it. The taller fake cop tried to speak, but the deputy raised a hand. IDs. Now. They hesitated, then handed them over. The deputy's jaw tightened. These aren't law enforcement credentials. You're under arrest for impersonating officers, trespassing, and attempted unlawful eviction. Diane's composure shattered. You can't arrest me. I'm on the board. The deputy looked almost amused. You're about to be on the booking list. As they cuffed the two imposters, Diane kept shouting about her authority. The deputy turned to her. Ma'am, you're also under investigation for conspiracy and property interference. Call a lawyer. She was still yelling as they put her in the cruiser. I stood on the porch, arms folded, watching the SUV drive off. My phone buzzed a gamey attorney. This is just the start. With this footage, the whole board's going down. I smiled for real. Diane thought she could find me $30,000. Now she faced felony charges, and her precious board was about to collapse in court. By week's end, subpoenas flew like confetti, hand-delivered by the sheriff's office to every HOA board member. I was sipping coffee on my porch when the board's vice president, red-faced, stormed up my driveway. Do you have any idea what you've done? He shouted. I set my mug down slowly. Yeah. I stopped a criminal racket pretending to be an HOA. He pointed a shaky finger. We're a recognized association. We have rights. I chuckled. Recognized? Sure, but not here. You crossed the line literally and legally. Right then, my attorney pulled up in his truck, stepping out with a thick binder. Good morning, he said to the VP. Save your breath for the judge. The VP's eyes darted between us. Then he stomped off, muttering about ungrateful cabin squatters. That night, the local news ran the story. HOA board accused of fraud, impersonating police. My camera footage played on loop. Diane's fake notices, the bogus cops, the illegal padlock. Social media exploded. Comments were brutal. I hope they decorate her cell with HOA violation letters. $30K fine. She'll wish it was only that. The public heat was so intense that 3 board members resigned before the trial. When court day arrived, I walked in calm, knowing the evidence was airtight. Diane wouldn't even look at me. The courtroom was packed, locals, reporters, even former HOA members there for the spectacle. Diane sat at the defense table, arms folded, whispering frantically to her lawyer. The remaining board members looked like they hadn't slept in weeks. When the judge entered, the room fell silent.